So Ford, a line drive single to right. In looking at Ford in the game he played against Rick Russell, he pulled twice to right field, once to the first baseman, and one time went the other way.
So that scouting report, that's what they do before the series begins, and then pitchers and catchers and manager and pitching coach usually go over them.
Tony Pena coming up. Pena, who hit .214 during the regular year, hitting a little bit better than that in the LCS, .222. Hit a long out to dead center last night. Right. 0-1. Giants won 46 of their 81 at home during the year. Oh, 0-1 to Tony Pena. Ford with good speed down there at first base, stole 11.
Notice him taking a look at the coach. That's for confirmation from the first base coach. That's one of the things I'm sure Roger Craig picks up immediately.
And Pena hits one just by the diving Uribe, and Ford is on his way to third. Milner after him, no good. Down to second base goes Pena.
That's what the Cardinals do better than anybody, going from first to third, and you can see what happens on the throw. Pena, a catcher who can run, as Vin has been talking about it, he picks up the big base, and now the double play is eliminated, and the base hit scores 2.
So Pena, who looked like he was giving at the plate, I think he was expecting a pitch inside. He got a curveball, and it looked like his hips were almost in the Cardinal dugout, and he was able to reach out and hit it up the middle. So Pena, key base hit to put Cardinals at second and third with one out, and Danny Cox will be the batter.
Not only a key hit, a key base that he picked up. Boy, that changes the defense. The infield's got to play at third base. They're already in at first base or halfway, second and short.
Interesting what the 8th place hitter has done for the Cardinals so far in the LCS. Pena, Lawless, and Ford are hitting a combined .444 with 3 walks. That's some 8 spot.
Tough spot to hit from. I asked Danny Cox, what kind of a hitter are you? He said, improving. And one of the players walking next to him said he's come a long way.
0-1 to count to Danny. And he's in a hole now, 0-2. So Nick Leyva hanging out a sign perhaps, although what kind of a sign can you hang out to a pitcher, no balls and 2 strikes? Hang in there?
Don't get hurt. Because I think Kruko will go right after him. He should anyhow. Wouldn't be any play on.
1 out, second inning, no score, and the Cardinals threatening. Ground ball by the drawn-in infield. Ford scores. Down to third goes Pena, and the Cardinals lead 1-0.
I really must second guess that pitch. He threw a curveball that Danny Cox just about came unglued. I mean, when he saw that big breaking curveball and that fastball he gave him was right down the middle where he could put the bat on it. Good piece of hitting by Danny Cox, and a great example of hitting a mistake. Watch where this fastball is. It's no strikes, no balls and 2 strikes, right down the middle. I mean, that's room service.
Danny Cox had 1 RBI during the regular year, and he equals that with 1 swing tonight. So first and third, still 1 out. The Cardinals leading 1-0, so that's a turnabout from last night's game. And Vince Coleman coming up.
Vin, it's bad enough to give a pitcher a ball like that to hit, but no balls and 2 strikes.
So Kurt Ford carried the run over. Pena is now at third base. Cox at first with 1 out. And Vince Coleman the batter. 0-1 off speed. Coleman, of course, being such a speedster with over 100 stolen bases. He hit into 7 double plays all year. All 7 as a left-handed batter. And he's against the #1 Major League double play combination with the Giants.
They're really stacking him towards the left field line. A lot of room in right center.
Breaking ball, 1-1 to count.
Look at the defense. Now, even Uribe is way over there, and Robbie Thompson has to cheat towards the bag. But look at Milner in center field, and there's the big gap in right center field.
1-1 to Vince Coleman. Giants trying to prevent and stop the bleeding. Last night, the Cardinals went on a tear and had 5 consecutive hits. Tonight, they have 3 straight, with Coleman and Smith back to back. Two and 1 to count. Brenly not hiding behind that catcher's mitt as he did last night.
I'm sure one of the things he's talking about is, Mike, you got to be yourself. Forget about what's happened. And that last pitch looked like you tried to throw it a little bit too hard and got it out of the zone.
2-1 to Vince Coleman, who grounded out to Will Clark, and Kruko came over to handle it in the first inning. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ground ball into right field. Base hit. Pena will score. And Cox on his way to third. Aldretti's throw is not in time. Holding at first is Coleman. That's 4 consecutive hits for the Cardinals, and they lead 2-0.
And keep in mind what we said about the Cardinals being the best club going from first to third. You can talk all you want about speed being stealing bases, but that's not the yardstick. The yardstick is just what they're doing. Here's a pitcher, a big guy like Danny Cox. The Cardinals probably have the only pitching staff with shin splints from running.
And it is certainly paying off. Ford singled to right. Pena singled up the middle. Ford going to third. And Pena took second on the throw. Cox single scoring Ford with Pena taking third. Coleman singles and Pena scores with Cox taking third. So it's a little bit of a track meet out there. 2-0 in favor of St. Louis. And left-handed Joe Price begins to stretch out in the Giant bullpen.
Why do Herzog and his coaches work on that in spring training? I mean, to them, when you're on first, second base is not a place to stop and refuel. It's just a place along the route. Keep going.
4 consecutive hits for the Cardinals. And here is Ozzie Smith, who was aboard on the error charge to Robbie Thompson in the first inning. Ball 1. When the Giants come up in the second inning, Whitey will have to contend with Aldretti, Brenly, and Thompson. Danny Cox down the line from third. Coleman away from first. And a line drive. Great catch by Thompson. Double play.
And let's tackle Jim.
A diving catch by Robbie Thompson. And then scrambles on his knee and doubles up Vince Coleman at first. The only way to stop 4 consecutive hits.
Robbie Thompson had that play in front of him, and he could see it. He wasn't going to take any chances to even get up, and that says it all right there.
Bottom of the second inning. Robbie Thompson perhaps really putting a stop to a runaway inning. If Ozzie Smith's ball is through, the Cardinals are off to the races. As it is, they lead 2-0. And now the Giants will have Mike Aldretti, Bob Brenly, and Robbie Thompson against Danny Cox. When Danny Cox pitches to Mike Aldretti, he doesn't have to have too much of a memory to think back to July the 9th at St. Louis. He was struck by a line drive off the bat of Mike Aldretti. It fractured the 5th metatarsal in his right foot, causing him to be on the disabled list from the 10th of July to the 8th of August. So Mike Aldretti will start it off. Aldretti has done pretty well against Cox. He's had only 1 at bat in the LCS. He's 0 for 1. And you can see that shin has to be protected. He beats a lot of foul balls down there. Ball 1. Aldretti was in the starting lineup for the opening game and came out when Cox couldn't pitch, and Greg Matthews did.
He really takes a positive approach to hitting. He visualizes his swing.
I tell you, he's got a lot of reasons to be positive. I'll give you 325 of them. That was his average during the year.
It's no accident, and he's got good mechanics. That swing of his is like Will Clark, a beauty.
2-0 in there. 2-1. Aldretti with cover boy looks. Born and raised in the magnificent Carmel area. Went to Stanford University. He was late on that fastball. That was by him.
Looked like he might have been trying to go the opposite field, thinking there might have been an off-speed pitch, but Cox had a little bit on that one.
2-2. And he goes the other way, and the ball is over Coleman's head, so he has to go back and get it. That thing was really slicing as it took off. 1 down.
Coleman, with his great speed, just kind of outruns that ball. He circles it. Always brings to mind, Mr. Rickey used to say that hitting had value only on offense, fielding value only on defense, but speed, value on offense and defense. And you can see it with Vince Coleman. We know what he does on bases, but there's a case of speed, just making an easy play after kind of circling it.
Here's Bob Brenly, who has struggled a bit. He has 1 hit, a double to right, and he's been having trouble making contact. He struck out 5 times in 2 games. Brenly hit almost 270 during the regular year. 1 ball, no strikes. Fastball in there.
Pattern has been the same on him. They've not given him a ball from the middle of the plate in, and they've been throwing breaking balls, mostly changing speeds on that outside corner. You saw Cox that time with the fastball.
1-1. And that's promptly looped to left field. Coleman coming on, drops for a hit. So Brenly, a 1-out single to left, and the batter will be Robbie Thompson. The Giant lineup has a different look to it tonight. When you play Milner and Aldretti, you get defense, but you don't get a lot of power. And when Chili Davis sits down, along with Candy Maldonado, that's 44 home runs between them. So it is a different Giant attack tonight. Robbie Thompson can handle that bat. He's already tried to squeeze once in the series. Brenly, who runs reasonably well for a catcher, held on by Dan Dreesen. Strike. 0-1. Robbie hit .262 during the regular year, looking for his first hit in the LCS.
He can handle that bat. You can put a play on with him, obviously.
And on deck, you have Jose Uribe, who will hit left-handed. Oh, 0-1 to Robbie Thompson. 1 out in the second. 2-0 St. Louis. Good breaking ball, a throw to first. Boy, the bottom came out of that thing.
He throws it. He can change speeds, but when he throws that to Mike Rourke, and it's interesting talking to him, he calls it a breaking ball. The play at first base is just one of those I'll be there things. Pena likes to throw, and it makes your ball club look good. It's not a set play. If he gets the ball and Dreesen's there, he's going to throw it.
0-2 the count to Robbie Thompson. Down he goes. That has been his problem all year. Robbie, who does have a little power, he had 10 home runs, but he's not that kind of a hitter. But he struck out over 90 times during the regular season.
Batting 80, number 23.
Breaking ball again. They got it high. Robbie just didn't get it.
Boy, did he open up. Looked like he was
Yes.
going to try and pull that thing.
Yep.
Well, Danny Cox strikes out Robbie Thompson for his first strikeout. And here's Jose Uribe. Uribe, during the regular year, hit over 300 as a left-handed batter. In there. 0-1.
I tell you, Cox has had great control of every pitch he has thrown. The fastball, he's changed up a little bit on taking something off that curveball and right on that outside corner. I don't think Uribe could have reached that pitch, and it was a strike.
And another one.
Breaking ball, same spot.
Looks like Uribe's really off the plate.
Well, that's what I say. That first pitch, I don't really believe he could reach it, Ben. And
No.
that's the first thing they teach is take a stance that you cover the plate and take it, cover the plate with your stride. But look where he is. And then he's not diving into it.
And he promptly pulls one down the right field line, hooking in the corner. It is a foul ball. Foul ball. All we could do is keep our eyes on Dave Pallone, the right field umpire, because the ball disappears from your view in the corner, and Pallone was right there to call it.
And he got that pitch inside. There you see Pallone.
He had a couple of big calls last night.
Yes, he did. And got him right. Not that it's so unusual, but in a pressure game, big calls.
So Uribe losing what appeared to be a chance for a double and an RBI on the count 0-2.
Just wonder if he'll come inside this time, because he got away with one, Cox did. I certainly wouldn't. Have to be around that corner.
On deck, Mike Krukow. Breaking ball, got him. That's strikeout number 2 for Danny Cox. No runs, 1 hit, and a man left. We'll be back after these messages, but first a look at the Golden Gate Bridge. The 1987 National League Championship Series is brought to you by Buick, and again this year, as it has for 85 years, the great American road belongs to Buick. And by Kmart, the saving place. We're proud to say you made us America's favorite store. We're going to the 3rd inning. Here in a very busy city of San Francisco. The fleet's in. About 11 ships came in. Couple of thousand sailors. We've had the Blue Angels flying overhead for the air show. And Game 4 of the LCS.
Those Blue Angels, did they go through your room?
And now.
Fly right through your room, those guys.
Tommy Herr takes a strike in the count 0-1. I was just thinking, under the heading of the best laid plans of mice and men, all the study and the scouting about these two teams, the giant power, their ability to turn a double play, leading the major leagues in the earned run average. Then you look at the Cardinals and their great speed, a great defensive team, and how do you control their base runners. And 2 of the more important hits in the LCS, a single to center by a pitcher to drive in 2, and tonight a single to drive in 1. Greg Matthews and now Danny Cox. Tommy Herr lined out to right in the 1st inning. He's 0 for 1. And he lifts one into right center and deep. Already going behind Milner. It'll be Milner.
Casey Stengel, who said so many great things, he ain't so smart if they don't execute.
1 down on a fly ball to Eddie Milner, and the batter will be Dan Dreesen. Dan Dreesen walked in the 1st inning, and Krukow got out of the jam as McGee lined out to Milner. Kevin Mitchell plays about even with the bag at 3rd. Dreesen, a very experienced player. He's been in 4 LCS series. 3 with the Reds and this one with the Cardinals. Off speed, missed, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Danny Cox bothered by the bad neck for Game 1, but leading tonight. A drive into right center and deep. Milner and Aldretti on the track and makes the catch in front of Milner.
See a catch like that, the first thing you check is the flags, but I don't think they were blown that much, so it just didn't get it all. Already right on the track. There you see him.
Had the flags been blowing and the wind blowing the way it was in the 1st inning, that's a home run.
Might have been out of here, but he's got plenty of room yet.
So 2 down in the 3rd. Here at Candlestick, a nightmare, and it's not his nightmare, but a nightmare would be to wear contact lenses and play here. Those who wear contacts tell me that the wind dries out the solution and the lenses become abrasive. And even without them, with the wind swirling, dust is a factor.
Remember, Darrell Evans used to take batting practice with just clear glasses to keep the dust from going into his eyes.
Yeah, it's tough. The Robbie Thompson we saw going ahead first,
right.
And he had to time it, and he had to put drops in. 1-1. Hit down the left field line, foul, and out of play, and the count 1-2.
I'll say this, Roger Craig has done a great job of turning that attitude positive, though. He said, oh, hey, listen, this is the way we like it.
When I heard Candy Maldonado say, we love it cold, windy, and when it's foggy, that's when we really love
like it.
And he's from Puerto Rico, then I knew that Roger had really done a sales job.
He did.
Little roller down to first. No play. It's going to be ruled a foul ball. First base umpire Jim Quick maintaining that the ball hit Willie McGee, so they're going to have to do it again. Immediately they're going to say, see, there's no shoe polish, and Willie comes back to the plate.
That's become such a famous way to check it, and here comes Roger Craig. He wants to find out what's going on.
So McGee hit by his own batted ball. Remember last night when Robbie Thompson took off at first, acting like he felt he had been hit by the pitch, and then was called back and a run scored.
Well, Nippy Jones was the first one with the shoe polish, and then Gil Hodges. I'm trying to think of that Oakland play. They wore white shoes, and the umpire couldn't see a mark. Let's take a look at it, and we're going to have a replay of it and see what you think about it. Oh, missed it by 2 feet. And that shot. What do you think? Did you see it?
It looked like the ball fouled in front of him.
Yeah, look, I don't
But
see
at least from one angle. Now,
From
maybe
that
where
angle.
Jim is looking down the barrel, it could be another story. Hard to really say. 1-2 the count. Chopper by the mound. Robbie Thompson charging. A little bit of a tricky hop, so he makes a good play to get him. That was a lot tougher than it first appeared because the ball angled suddenly at the last minute to Robbie Thompson's left.
Oh, he missed it 3 feet.
At the end of 2.5, 2-0 Cardinals.
I'm an easy guy to satisfy. I only want the best. Sierra is the pickup.
You know, as long as people recognize me as Will, that's fine. But, you know, once they start calling me Jack, you know, Jack left here 4 years ago, and he's made a name for himself in St. Louis, and I'm trying to do that here in San Francisco. So, you know, we're two different people trying to do the same job with the same name, unfortunately.
And the other Clark, Jack. One Will the Thrill, and the other one they used to call Dude up here.
Dude.
Bottom of the third, 2-0 Cardinals. Pretty good hitting pitcher, Mike Krukow. Ball one. Krukow has hit 4 home runs in his career, and with 7 RBIs this year, he has 52 in his career, so he can swing the bat. 2 fastballs and 2 balls and no strikes. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Cardinals. No runs, 1 hit for the Giants. For a fellow who had a stiff neck, I'm surprised he doesn't have some kind of a turtleneck on here at Candlestick.
I tell you, as big as he is, he can pitch any way he wants.
Yeah, you're right. Ball 3.
How do you figure that? Here's a guy who's got pretty good control. The pitcher comes up, and he's got 3 balls, no strikes on him.
Denny Bradford Cox, born in Northampton, England. And that's down the pipe, 3-1.
I guess the tip-off on his personality is when he got on the plane, went down and beat up on that fellow, was giving his sister some problems.
3-1. And he walked him. Danny was not a particularly successful pitcher on the road. He was under 500 on the road this year, and he had a tough September. He won once and lost 5 times. So he walks the pitcher, and that'll bring up Milner, Mitchell, and Leonard.
Ozzie Smith came in to say something, and I'm sure he set up the defense, but in the process, you can bet me he said, hey, don't be walking the other pitcher.
So Eddie Milner grounded to short in the first inning. Krukow disdains the warm-up jacket. That's a sure sign he thinks it's a pleasant evening here at Candlestick.
And he's got running gloves on both hands. Or he's going to be well dressed when he gets the second. If he gets that.
0-1 to count to Eddie Milner. 2-0 Cardinals, bottom of the third. Fastball foul back, so Milner is in a jam. 0-2. Kevin Mitchell on deck. Milner had 4 home runs during the regular year. He's not that type of a hitter. But he strikes out, and for Danny Cox now, 3 strikeouts.
That's the unpredictability of baseball. Walks the pitcher and then throws nothing but strikes to Milner.
And Kevin Mitchell will be coming up.
Kevin Mitchell.
So Danny Cox, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. He's allowed 1 hit. Kevin Mitchell grounded to short in the first inning. Fastball hit the center, base hit. Krukow will go 90 feet at a time.
Not that Krukow could go to third base. There's no chance. I want to preface that. But it just shows you the difference in the theory of running. Danny Cox took off when he was at first base, thinking he could make third, and he did make it. But Krukow knew he was going to stop at second.
First and second with 1 out. 2-0 in favor of the Cardinals. Another look at the stride of Krukow.
He just knew he was going to stop at second base, whereas the Cardinals, pitchers included, they're going to head for everything.
So here's the first dramatic moment here at Candlestick. 2 on, and Jeffrey Leonard coming up. Leonard walked in the first inning. So Krukow at second, Mitchell at first, Leonard at the plate. You don't have very much speed out there.
They're going to just switch signs, but it was just handed to me that ball that Mitchell hit was 91 miles an hour, which was the fastest pitch that Cox is throwing, and that's one of the things they worry about if he tries to throw too hard.
What's that old line about trying to throw a fastball by Mitchell? Is like trying to throw a lamb chop past a wolf. And he really wolfed it. So first and second, 1 out, and Jeffrey Leonard at the plate. Breaking ball on the corner for a strike. 0-1. Cardinals 2. Giants trying to come back here in the third. Another breaking ball, but he wouldn't chase it. 1-1. After Leonard comes Will Clark. Now he tries a fastball inside, and he's behind 2-1.
He laid 2 breaking balls on the outside corner, and that was the one he wanted to break the bat on and get the ground ball. Now Leonard, he's just looking at Zimmer for no other reason, just to look at it, because you know he's got the green light, and he's going to be sitting on the pitch he is looking for.
Leonard with 19 home runs, 63 RBIs during the regular year. Fastball. 2-2.
Kind of surprised he chased that, Vin. I'll tell you why. The way they've been pitching him inside, I thought he'd be looking for something inside if it was a fastball.
Now, of course, it's not only the pitch, but the location.
He's got to give him a breaking ball. Get that ground ball. That's what happens.
2-2 to the hack man, as they call him. And he chased it, and down he goes. Strikeout number 4 for Danny Cox, and it will bring up Will Clark, who grounded out in the first inning.
Good breaking ball. Watch it go right down the great spot. He could not have driven that anywhere. You could see it was all arms. He was bailing out.
And it looked like ball 3, borderline.
It was borderline, but 2 strikes, too close to take. And he's checking. Look at him. He's checking with Chili Davis.
2 on, 2 out, and Will Clark, the batter, 0 for 1. 2-0 Cardinals, bottom of the third. We're just warming up. Time, no pitch. Clark had backed out. Eric Gregg had called time, but Danny Cox was so intent that he wasn't looking. 35 home runs during the regular year for Will Clark. 2 of them came with 2 men on base. He just missed hitting 1 out last night when he doubled about a foot shy of the right field wall. Ball 1 started him with a low fastball. Cox walked Leonard in the first inning, gave up a single to Brenly in the second, and has given up a walk and a single in the third. It points up the fact that the Giants in the first 3 games left 18 men on, a few more than the Cardinals. 1-0. Right. 1 ball and 1 strike. Clark hit .308 during the regular year. One and 2. So Danny Cox getting tougher by the moment here.
He took something off the curveball with that one. That first pitch he threw in the dirt was a hard fastball, kind of overthrew it, and then he let up on this one. So I tell you, I doubt if Clark will get a fastball to hit.
Another left-hand hitter on deck, Mike Aldretti. 2 out. Krukow at second, Mitchell at first. Swung on and fouled at the plate. Just did get a piece of it.
Good breaking ball. You can see the bottom just fall right out of it.
Down and dirty by Danny Cox. Take another look at it.
You see a pitch like this, don't tell me about optical illusions.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Will Clark. And the fastball away.
He's going to show him that pitch. When you talk to Pena and you talk to Lake about Danny Cox, they tell you that his ball, his fastball, is moving all the time. You can be right in the middle of the plate. It'll go one way or the other. He's got good movement on the fastball.
Deuce is wild to Will Clark. Hard breaking ball, and he golfed it and rolled it foul. Once again, we remind our viewers we will be selecting the NBC Miller Lite Player of the Game at the conclusion of the ballgame. It's 2-0 Cardinals, bottom of the third. Mike Krukow at second, Kevin Mitchell at first with 2 out. Danny Cox struck out Eddie Milner and Jeffrey Leonard here in the third, and he has a 2-2 count on Will Clark. Three and 2. That is a little bit of an offensive edge for the Giants, because at least they can get a slow man like Krukow in motion on the pitch. And Pena going out to talk to Danny Cox.
Just wants to make sure what he wants to do and where, because they'll have to bear down on Will Clark. You almost forget about those runners. It's true that Krukow and Mitchell will be breaking with 3 and 2. But here's the guy you got to bear down on. Your concentration got to be on Will Clark.
Full count to Will Clark. Danny Cox is working hard in this inning. He's made 21 pitches in the inning. 3 and 2. Runners go, and it's caught him. What an inning as Danny Cox strikes out the side. That gives him 5 strikeouts in the game. A frustrated and angry Will Clark leaves, and a look back at a very special Olympic moment.
An Olympic moment brought to you by the Prudential, offering a full range of insurance and other financial services. The Prudential.
Mexico City, 1968. America's Al Order attempts to win his 4th consecutive Olympic discus gold medal. On his 3rd throw, he sets a new Olympic record. Al Order, the only track and field athlete in Olympic history to win an event 4 times in succession.
We go above and beyond just like you. Above and beyond what we have to do. Caring for what's special to you.
Only your Prudential representative goes above and beyond with a Pru review of your auto insurance.
We go above and beyond like you do. Taking care to protect what's important to you. Go out, the Prudential, above and beyond.
Sunday, the NFL plays here when the Chiefs battle the Dolphins.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL Live.
A picture of an area they tell me was originally called Candlestick Point. I guess looking down at it, it looked somewhat like candelabra. And that shot coming to you from the Goodyear Blimp Columbia. From Los Angeles, the pilot, Captain Joel Chamberlain from Norwood, Massachusetts. By the way, up there, the wind is 35 knots at 1,000 feet. The Goodyear Blimp cruises at 35 miles per hour, going nowhere. And talking about going nowhere.
I was going to say, talk about 35 knots. That's about the speed that helmet came off. Well, he's an intense young man. He's still thinking about that time at bat. Danny Cox, tough inning, but a good one for him, Vin.
In fact, that's the toughest thing of all, isn't it? To forget about that at-bat.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you think you had a pitch you could handle.
So Danny Cox strikes out the side in a jam, has struck out 5 in 3 innings. It remains 2-0 Cardinals, and Terry Pendleton, Kurt Ford, and Tony Pena in that order. All the damage has been done by the bottom of the Cardinal lineup. Ball 1.
I think that one pitch if Kruko could get it back is that one to Danny Cox.
Oh, sure.
Man, that was murder.
2 hits by 2 Cardinal pitchers. Big ones in the LCS. 2-0 the count to Terry Pendleton, who fly to center in the 2nd inning. On the corner. 2-1. Mike Kruko gave up 4 consecutive hits with 2 runs in the 2nd inning and was bailed out by Robbie Thompson, converting Ozzie Smith's line drive into a double play. 2-2 to Terry Pendleton. In checking Danny Cox's performance during the year, it's the first time this year he struck out the side. He picked a dandy time to do it.
You know, if you look at Pendleton and Ford, the on-deck hitter, you think Pendleton's stronger, yet they don't think he can pull.
3-2.
Look at the defense. Milner in center field is over in left center field as we look at Ford, and yet with Ford, they pull way around. Look at that. Center field is usually a key man.
Pendleton rolls it to the right side to Robbie Thompson. For Pendleton, he has some size. He had 12 home runs during the regular year. Kurt Ford had only 3 home runs. Admittedly, didn't have as many at-bats, but all you have to do is look at Pendleton's legs. His lower torso looks like it really belonged to somebody 6'5". Kurt Ford the other way around. Slim as a greyhound. Ball 1. We're in the 4th. The Cardinals 2 and the Giants nothing.
He hit himself a pretty good rip there, Mr. Scully.
He swung like a man who had hit 12 home runs.
That's
Not
right.
3.
He was going for the downs. I tell you, that on-deck approach that he had at Perry Como yawn that he gave it, a little deceiving there with that swing. He had a pretty good cut.
Kurt Ford is 5'10" and weighs in at 150. He is lighter than Ozzie Smith.
Built to run.
Time, no pitch.
Kruko, when he gets a sign, he doesn't fool around, and I think that's a sign of a good pitcher. Defense always on their toes. Pitch fast.
Mike normally has excellent control. That's part of his game, his trademark. He has walked 1 so far.
Cardinal fans seated among the Cardinal wives caught it and got a Cardinal jacket on. These Giant fans letting him have it. There he is.
2-2. The count to Kurt Ford. Oh, now you want to talk about a rainbow. A big, slow curveball, and Ford goes back to the garage. What a pitch.
All that does when you get it is hypnotize you. You don't believe it when it starts out. It's almost like Rip Sewell's Ephus pitch. Look at this thing. It's clocked at 68 miles an hour with a strong wind behind it, but you talk about an infield fly. That was really a rainbow.
Especially throwing a rainbow to a guy who almost came out of his uniform with his first swing. All part of the liberal education. Pena, ground ball to Kevin Mitchell, Kevy throws him out, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. The last 7 in a row retired by Krukow at the end of 3.5 innings. Cardinals 2, Giants 0.
It's a pathway that leads from here to tomorrow, from sea to shining sea. The great American road belongs to Buick. Whoa, it's a feeling of smoothness, of power and grace. The road up ahead in command. Yeah, the great American road belongs to Buick.
Most men know I model swimsuits for a famous sports magazine. No one knows what beer I drink. Well, it's Miller Lite. For obvious reasons. I like light because it's less filling. But most of all, I like it because it tastes great. As for men, sometimes I just don't understand them. I think these guys have never seen a girl with Miller Lite before.
For a perfect 10, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
200 years ago, our Constitution was born, and with it the promise that we, the people, could live in freedom as one nation. To capture the spirit of that precious promise, the United States Mint has created the official United States Constitution coins in silver or gold. Now and forever, hold on to the promise at Sears Banks and Savings and Loans.
Even though you faithfully pay your premiums, why do some insurance companies make you feel so guilty?
I had an accident.
Do you have an estimate? 2 estimates? 3 estimates. And a note from your mother?
My mother?
Leave it to the good hands, people.
In most cases, Allstate will give you a settlement on the spot without 3 estimates or a note from your mother.
How do we know it's her writing?
You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Cardinals leading the Giants 2-0. Good-natured fan with a little propeller on top of his cap. The hum baby signs in the beat St. Louis, and as the beat goes on in the stands, Danny Cox quietly getting ready to face a charge from Mike Aldretti, Bob Brenly, and Robbie Thompson. Aldretti flied to left field in the 2nd inning. Cox with 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. He's allowed 2 hits and no runs. Starts breaking ball, but he's too low. Ball 1. And the fastball is low, so they're behind 2-0. Just serves up the point of how difficult it is to come off that bench. 2-0 to Mike Aldretti. Ground ball to first. Danny Beeson will hang one to Danny Cox coming over. So just like that, 1 away. And the batter will be Bob Brenly. Bob Brenly single to left in the 2nd inning, 1 for 1. Prior to this year, Brenly didn't have a hit against Cox. He's 5 for 8 against him this year, so he's catching up. Big crowd, but they are silenced, just as the large crowd at Busch Stadium sat on their hands as Dave Rebecki was pitching a 2-hitter. This big crowd here doesn't have anything to holler about because Danny Cox has the Giants shut down into the 4th.
He's showing it from that mound. He stands there like he knows he's in control.
0-1, the count to Bob Brenly. Fastball got the corner at the knees. 0-2.
He's working Brenly pretty tough. Inside, outside, changing speeds. He's really been carving him.
fouled off. Oh, 2 to Brenly, 1 away in the 4th. 2-0 St. Louis. Game 4 tomorrow. Rick Russell and Greg Matthews. Got him on the outside corner. So Brenly becomes the 6th strikeout for Danny Cox. And with 2 down in the 4th, Robbie Thompson the batter.
He's been laying the breaking ball out there, coming inside with the fastball, but this time it's a fastball, and Greg says it caught the corner, and Brenly's out on strikes.
Brenly not exactly cheering Eric Gregg's call of that pitch. He had to get it out of his system. Check swing on a breaking ball, strike 1.
And that's one of the advantages of catching, if you want to call it that. When he gets back there, Brenly will be telling him all about it. Okay, you call on me, give my pitcher that.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, whether you do get on the umpire or whether you figure it might have an adverse effect on your own pitcher.
Well, it's more conversational.
1-1 to count to Robbie Thompson.
And your choice of words is more suitable for family viewing.
Gotcha.
See, what he did there was rated R, but behind the plate, you're PG.
1 ball and 1 strike to count. And a drive into deep left field. Back to the wall goes Coleman. Gone. Robbie Thompson, who hit 10 during the regular year, hits one of those no doubt about it home runs. And it is Cardinals 2, Giants 1, and the crowd finally has a chance to make some noise.
Got that ball up in the zone, and Robbie Thompson was waiting for it. He really did hit it hard.
Now the batter is Jose Uribe with 2 out, but boy, has Thompson shaken up the stick. Change. Ball 1.
He hit it hard. Cox's reaction, he's watching it all the way, but he knows it's gone.
Fly ball to right field, and his tracks Kurt Ford. And that will be that, but it's a run on the home run by Robbie Thompson. At the end of 4, Cardinals 2, Giants 1. We'll be back after these messages, but first, a look at Alcatraz. What a mournful place in the world.
So my team didn't make it this year. So what do I look forward to after the playoffs? Watching Crime Story on Tuesday. At least those guys know what a hit really is.
For 40 years, my father worked and saved and invested so that we might have a better time of it than he had. Now he's retiring. And I'm thinking that none of us really changed the world in our lifetime. But we can touch the people around us in ways that last.
God bless you.
He has. I hope I do as well.
Our friend, Bob Green.
When you invest, it's not just your money. It's your hopes, your dreams, your future. The Franklin Group of Mutual Funds.
Los Angeles, 12 million people, and they want your water.
Press room. They introduced another bill to take water from the Delta and ship it to the South. Not again.
For Chronicle reporters Carl Nolte and Jerry Roberts, it's a story that never goes away.
It's not another peripheral canal. That's dead.
Senator Ayala said the water's just floating around up there, serving no good purpose.
You think the corporate farmers in the valley care about the little fishies in the Delta?
We got the money, we got the power, we got the votes. We'll get the water.
Their bill was passed with some environmental protection for the Bay, but the corporate interests still weren't satisfied.
They went around the legislature and killed the safeguards for the Bay.
But when the Chronicle broke the story, the corporate interests were defeated.
Your reporting is biased and slanted.
The Chronicle.
That damn newspaper will never be satisfied.
Great people make a great paper. Order now and get it. Half price.
Come home to Channel 4's post-game wrap-up show tonight.
What do they tell you? Don't forget to smell the flowers along the way. How could you possibly come here and not take a moment out to look at a sunset over the Pacific? Magnificent. Danny Cox isn't thinking about sunsets at all. He's thinking about that ball sailing over the left field wall.
Exactly. Trying to wipe it from his mind. There's Eddie Vargo, former National League umpire. Last night I had him working out of the commissioner's office, and National League president Bud Giamatti says, hey, he works for me and I'm proud of it. So there he is.
Check swing foul. That got a little bit of Bob Brenly, but he's okay.
Brenly, I think, had the line that says it for all catchers. By the end of the season, you feel like a used car.
0-1. Right two. Remember, Danny Cox had that key base hit in the second inning on an 0-2 pitch.
And it was a fastball that he hit. Let's see what he throws this time. It's not Uncle Charlie. Bet.
Chasing the breaking ball and fouled a piece away. Mike Krukow trailing 2-1 here in the fifth. He's allowed 2 runs and 4 hits, but there were 4 consecutive singles in the second inning. And boy, did he throw him a breaking ball that time.
He's not about to give him another fastball, but it burned him in that second inning, and he just threw it out of the strike zone even, and Cox chased it.
That's 8 in a row retired by Mike Krukow. Watch this thing sail.
Look how far out of the zone it is. You couldn't reach that with a pull ball this pull.
Vince Coleman coming up. Grounded out and single to right. 1 for 2.
Speed really moves him in. Mitchell's in at third. Clark comes in at first.
And the outfield swung the other way with the gap in right center. One ball and no strikes. That might have been an effort to throw that same rainbow he threw Kurt Ford, but not very much happened with it.
No, it kind of squibbed out. It's that old soap bar
time.
I don't like that. I think he's got to call that a strike. I really do.
And Brenly is furious.
I don't blame him. I would argue too, because he was in his delivery and all of a sudden he walks out. I don't blame him at all. I think Coleman waited too long to get out of there. I'd argue it. I really would.
I think basically the umpire is always fearful that when the hitter calls time, he is then vulnerable to being hit by a pitch.
Yeah, but look at there. Look where he was, man. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're going to call time. And look at Brenly's arguing already.
All right, now let's see. And, of course, there's no love lost, as we mentioned earlier, between Krukow and Vince Coleman. 2 balls and no strikes to count.
You see it, too. There's something going on, believe me.
Oh, yeah. Ever since Krukow went after Coleman and Coleman got him in the ribs. He's behind now, 3-0.
See, he's catching him between the hitch. When Coleman tries to use it at the time, he puts that bat out there, and he caught him between the hitch.
That's in there. 3-1 to count to Vince Coleman. 1 out in the fifth. 2-1 St. Louis. Mike Krukow and Danny Cox. On deck, Ozzie Smith.
See, he's trying to time him there. They caught him again.
And another strike. You have to wait a little while for Eric Gregg. He throws a phantom right hand quite a bit after the fact.
Right there, right there. See, Coleman just does get that bat back, and that's what Krukow's trying to do, is catch him.
And that's hit foul off third, down the line and out of play. Each umpire has his own style, and you really have to learn it, or all of a sudden you're calling pitches either too early. With Eric, you have to wait until he straightens up and actually throws that right hand. Roller slowly. Robbie Thompson has trouble getting it out of his glove. Throws it, and it gets by Will Clark. Coleman will hold at second base.
The grass slowed it up, and that's the one thing that speed will do. Infielders, they get edgy. They know who's running. They know they have to hurry. They know they have to handle the ball cleanly. Robbie Thompson comes up with it. He's trying to hurry. It can't get out of his glove. Really throws a pound ball over there. Will Clark can't come up with it. And Vince Coleman actually kicked the ball, not intentionally, or they would send him back, and he picks up an extra base. And he says that for him, it's easier to steal third than it is second, so you gotta watch him.
It's going to go as an infield single. On a roller to Robbie Thompson, he couldn't get it out of his glove, and then the throw accounts for his presence at second base. So it's 1-1, base hit and an error. And the error now is going to be charged to Will Clark.
There it is. Interesting scoring.
Very. Well, Nick Peters and Dave Nightingale are the official scorers. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-1.
The disadvantage that Coleman has is he got left-hand batters up there, and Smith, Hurt, Dreesen, McGee, Pendleton, all Ford, all left-hand batters. So Brenly's got a good view of Coleman if he does decide to break.
Uribe bird dogging him, but no throw. Jose riding his back, trying to take a step or two away from him.
A little jockeying.
1 ball, 1 strike. And that's hit to right. Aldrete is coming up in a hurry. Makes the diving catch. Throws to second too late. A clutch play by Mike Aldrete.
That ball was hit off the handle. Looked like it was going to drop in. Aldrete, the swing looked like it was going to make that ball carry a little farther. Now watch him extend that glove, and usually when you do that, the elbow hits the ground, it's jars loose, but he's able to hold it. Clutch play is right, Ben.
Big play by Mike Aldrete. The crowd reacting a second time. They show it on the screen in center field, and Mike Krukow turned around to take another look at Mike's great catch. So 2 down. Vince Coleman at second base, and Ozzy's wondering what he has to do to get a base hit. And here is Tommy Herr, lined out to right and flied to center. And they flash on the board, and if you don't know it, you wouldn't understand what it means. They flash big letters, Mario, Mario. We mentioned last night the Giants call Mike Aldrete Mario. They tie his name up with Mario Andretti. 0-1 to count to Tommy Herr. And a fake to second. Reminds me of the old scoreboard in Ebbets Field. If you didn't know the Dodger nicknames, you wouldn't know who they were talking about. Scoonge and Mooney and Cam, Pee Wee. 0-1.
Furillo, Hodges,
Mooney was.
Yeah. Well, Scoonge is probably in Reading watching this game.
I wouldn't be surprised. Breaking ball in on the hands, taken foul, and the count 0-2. If you joined us a little late with 1 out in the second inning, the Cardinals had 4 consecutive singles for 2 runs. In the bottom of the 4th with 2 out, Robbie Thompson hit a home run, and that's it. Cardinals 2, Giants 1, 2 down, top of the 5th. When the Giants bat in the bottom of the 5th, Krukow due to start it off, then Milner and Mitchell. No balls and 2 strikes to Tommy Herr, trying to pick up Coleman from second base. And boy, what a job Uribe is doing, trying to cut down Coleman's lead.
Krukow keeps shaking off the signs.
No balls, 2 strikes. 1-2. Tommy Herr with 1 hit in 14 at-bats in the LCS. Tommy had the base hit in the 4th inning of the Dave Dravecky game. And it turned out to be the last Cardinal hit that day.
Maybe get a play at the plate. Tend to doubt it with the kind of speed Coleman's got.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Tommy Herr. And he gulps one down to Will Clark, who takes it to the bag, and they leave Coleman at second. A base hit and an error. And Krukow finally gets the last out, and it was quite a battle with Tommy Herr. He was furious when they called time on Coleman. And at the end of 4 1/2, Cardinals 2, Giants 1, thanks to Mike Aldrete.
Who's great? Let's spell it. Who's great? At Miller Lite, we'd just like to say we're sorry if we might be responsible for prolonging the football strike. Here's hoping they settle it soon. Who's great? Let's spell it. Who's great?
The totally new Buick Regal. There's nothing like it on the American road.
Out on the horizon, the heart of a Buick, the start of a regal new day. The great American road was made for regal. It's a regal reward. It's the way it should be in this regal American land. The great American road belongs to Buick.
They'll cut me right off the bottom line. Maybe I better not show it to them. I doubt in my mind. It's a case we can win.
There's one airline that knows its business so well, it actually lets you keep your mind on yours.
Three-part strategy.
United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve.
Our guy's flying tonight. There's tomorrow. We all fly on Thursday.
Come fly the friendly skies.
I got this covered or what?
It's your new telephone from AT&T. It's cordless, has 2 channels for clarity, and knows you have more to do than just talk on the phone.
Oh, you're not keeping me from anything.
And you found it at Kmart. Here's Kmart, America's favorite store.
It's game 4. The Cardinals are leading 2-1, and you're thinking just how important is this game?
Oh, for the Giants, if the Cardinals win it, you're going to start to hear the hammer hit the nails. And the Cardinals, that really sets their pitching up great. So any one you want to choose, big game.
Whoever wins this one, you then have Russell, who pitches exceptionally well here, either to give them a 1-game up and go to St. Louis and look at Tudor. So we'll see, as maybe game 4 will give us the answer to the 87 National League Championship Series. Mike Krukow to start it off. 4-1. 2-1 in favor of St. Louis. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Krukow, you remember, walked in the 3rd. Danny Cox has struck out a half a dozen in 4 innings. Ground ball back a 3rd. Right there is Terry Pendleton. 1 away. Eddie Milner will be coming up. Milner has grounded to short and struck out. Interesting as you look at Danny Cox, and we're counting his pitches here in the booth. And that's usually been the pattern. The first 70 pitches of any game he works, he's difficult. Then he tires, and the hitters catch up to him. Well, he has made 69 pitches right now.
Surprised a guy like Milner wouldn't try, as Pena works on his mask, wouldn't try the bunt the way that grass is.
Oh, yeah, I was surprised. Willie McGee, with a painful wrist, hitting right-handed, didn't try to bunt last night.
Grass really slow, and that ball in batting practice, when it hits there, I mean, it just kind of lays there. It's a kind of, if you're playing golf, you say, man, what a great lie I have.
Milner had only 4 home runs during the regular year, so you'd expect him. And the right side of the infield is back, but he's hacking and fouls it away. 0-1. Cardinals 2 runs, 5 hits. They had 4 consecutive hits for the 2 runs. Giants 1 run, 3 hits.
Speaking of hacking, it reminds me the Giants really did a nice thing. They asked Hank Sauer, who was a pretty good hacker, and Junior Thompson and Bob Kennedy to throw out the first ball for all the years they've spent with the organization. Kind of neat.
And how? 0-1. And that's hit to right field. Ford coming up for it. So 2 down in the 5th. And the batter will be Kevin Mitchell. On the pregame show, when they were showing the Welcome to San Francisco parade, they had a quick shot of 2 Giants in an open convertible waving to the crowd, the confetti coming down. One was Willie Mays, and the other fella was Hank Sauer.
Good hitter, Big Henry. I played with him at the Cubs.
Kevin Mitchell grounded a short single to center. He's 1 for 2. Remember, he hit that 91-mile-an-hour fastball for the base hit. He gets one inside. Ball 1.
Kevin reports to the clubhouse like he was the manager. Ninth game, he comes at noon.
And lines a breaking ball down the left field line. Going over in the corner is Coleman. And Mitchell into second base with a stand-up double. And the tying run is out there with 2 out. And Jeffrey Leonard coming up.
Hamilton gets up there, but not high enough. Down the line. He gives it a good effort. It's as high as he could get, but it's a 2-base hit.
In case you wonder, Terry Pendleton is only 5'9", so he really went to the top rung of the ladder. And Vince Coleman runs it down in the corner. So it is 2-1 Cardinals. The Giants have the tying run at second base in Mitchell, and Leonard, who has walked and struck out at the plate. And he hits a fastball in the air to left field. Coleman going back to the track, to the wall, leaps in the air. It's gone. Home run.
He stopped too. Watch this trot.
The flags are hanging limply in center field, and that fly ball, when it left, Coleman went back as if he had a play, and suddenly it looked like a jet stream carried it over.
Something caught it, and this crowd really going bonkers, and they'll want a curtain call. It'll be interesting to see what the Hackman does.
Remember last night we caught him saying, let him wait. We'll see what he does tonight. Candlestick.
They want to. Eric Gregg is motioning to come on out. That's the first time I've seen that. They want to get on with the game. Watch Coleman now. He's not so sure. He thinks now, he says, yeah. Now Coleman, he thinks he's got to play.
And watch the kids behind the fence, because when they go after it, you know the ball has eluded the outfielder.
I asked Leonard about saying make him wait. He had quite an answer.
1-1 to Will Clark. What did he say?
He said it wasn't the fans. He wanted the Cardinals to wait, and so he could upset them. Here's that ball again. Now Coleman runs out of room, and there that ball just gets over the glove.
1 ball and 1 strike. The count to Will Clark. 3-2 San Francisco in the 5th. And that's ball 2. For most home runs in the National League Championship Series, Steve Garvey, 4 in 1978, 4 games. Bob Robertson, 4 in 1971, 4 games for Pittsburgh. Jeffrey Leonard, 4 in 87, base hit for Clark.
Coleman finds where he is, gets to defense, feels it. Look at those kids fight for it.
Yeah, that's always the tip-off. And Leonard, once he sees the kid scramble, otherwise you're not sure if the outfielder's caught it or not.
He didn't have the flap down, Vin. He just kind of, when we got to second base, though, he stops. And Danny Cox, he's trying to draw that ball back. Here's his reaction.
Remember, we told you about Danny Cox and 70 pitches. He has crossed over the 70 mark, and the Giants are leading 3-2. So Danny Cox trying to weather a storm here in the 5th inning. 3-2 San Francisco. Will Clark at first, and Mike Aldrete. Slide to left, grounded out, and of course remember Aldreti's diving catch. Another look at Hackman. That's Mike Lacoste sitting there with him. Oh, and 1 to count to Mike Aldretti. We mentioned at the start of the game that when Cox and Krukow hooked up twice this year, they were both great games. In one game, Cox led 7-2. The Giants eventually got off the floor and won. In the other game, it went into extra innings. The Giants got 3 in the top of the 10th, and the Cardinals fought back for 4 in the bottom of the 10th to win it. So we figure to have another Donnybrook tonight. And that's line to center. Base hit. McGee is on it, and Clark will hold at second. What Clark did was make McGee throw, and he almost threw it away.
He threw it between third and home, and Danny Cox had to cut it off before it got to Pena. He didn't have enough time to back up Pena, so he cut it off. And now Dreesen, as we look at Whitey Herzog, Dreesen comes in to say something to Cox.
Boy, that 70 pitch mark that we talked about has really become prophetic. Because after the 70 pitches, Mitchell doubled, Leonard homered, Clark singled, Aldretti singled. So the last 4 hitters, once he crossed over the 70 pitch mark, have all registered with a base hit. And Mike Rourke going out to the mound. Down in the bullpen, Ricky Horton, who is the long man in Whitey Herzog's thinking tonight. Horton is first man up here in the 5th inning. The first 2 men made out. Krukow grounded out, Milner flied out, and then Herzog suddenly saw Danny Cox cross over the 70. And when he did, Mitchell doubled. Leonard, the long home run. Clark, the single to right. Aldretti, the single to center.
Tell you, something happened all right, and Mike Rourke going out there to try to buy a little bit of time to get that bullpen a little bit of chance to loosen up. It happened in a hurry.
And the batter is Bob Brenly, who singled to left and struck out. 1 for 2. Hard breaking ball, and Brenly chased it.
They've been laying that ball out there, and it's a difficult pitch to hit. And, of course, Cox spotted it well against Brenly.
Danny Cox with a half a dozen strikeouts, but he's also given up 2 home runs and a double. 1 ball, 1 strike. Will Clark at second, Mike Aldretti at first, 2 out. So where the Cardinals had 4 consecutive singles for their 2 runs in the second, the Giants now have had 4 consecutive hits with 2 out in the 5th. Giants lead 3-2. Fastball and a comebacker. Cox to Danny Dreesen, and the inning is over. 2 big runs, 4 hits, and the Hackman has been heard from again. At the end of 5, the Giants 3 and the Cardinals 2. Upcoming, Dreesen, McGee, and Pendleton.
You know what I did today? I tried to punch out a telephone at the airport. My plane was late, and I wanted to let my secretary know. It's high noon in the office. Nobody's picking up. So I started to count the rings. I get up to 25. Finally, I get some guy in the lobby. Is Ada there? I had no idea. Can he transfer me? Well, he's not sure, but he'll give it a try. Silence. More silence. Then I hear a little click. I know I'm cut off. I wanted to kill that phone with my bare hands. What if I'd been a client? Now, that's when I decide, never again. No more hit or miss. From now on, we're going to go with a system we can trust. One that handles every call, every message like it's worth $1 million. We're a service business. We get paid for our brains. We can't afford a communication system that makes it look like we haven't got any.
The fundamentals. The harder you work on them, the better you get. That's why at Raytheon Company, we admire people like Wade Boggs. People who are dedicated to perfecting the fundamentals, practicing them over and over and over until they're flawless. At Raytheon, we do the same thing, because in electronics, aviation, appliances, and energy, We believe quality starts with fundamentals.
If you had all the experience of yesterday, with all the skill and innovation of today, you couldn't lose. Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Carry the caring card.
Jeffrey Leonard with 4 home runs, 5 RBIs in the league championship series has given the Giants a 3-2 lead, and now the Cardinals try to come battling back with Dan Dreesen, Willie McGee, and Terry Pendleton. Half swing, it will cost a strike. 0-2.
That's one of those home runs, too, that's you'd have to call it a candlestick unexplainable, because it looked like a high fly ball, but something seemed to carry it.
0-2 the count. Big slow rainbow, but he missed. That was the Kurt Ford pitch, but it was just off the corner.
The flags now are blowing towards right field, but I know both of us looked at the flags as soon as that ball went over, and they were limp.
1-2 the count. And a breaking ball got him looking. Big rainbow curve.
Almost like the blooper pitch, and it's a change of speed, but also the break on it is something. Look how high it starts and look where it ends up. It almost hypnotizes you what it does.
It's clocked at 69 miles per hour. And with 1 out in the 6th inning, Willie McGee, the batter, lined out to center and grounded out. Willie 0 for 2. Fastball, full foul.
69 miles an hour, and you possible to get jammed with it. Who are you going to tell I was jammed on a 69 mile an hour pitch?
0-1. Giants trying to tie it up at 2 games apiece. The Cardinals trying to open it up 3 games to 1. On the corner. 0-2. Kruko has allowed a squib single to Vince Coleman in the 5th inning. He only hit since the 2nd. Ground ball to the left of Uribe. Base hit for Willie McGee. We've been charting the breeze or wind, and at the same time you can see the temperature now has dipped below 60. It is cooler in the ballpark tonight and windier than at any time last night. McGee at first, Terry Pendleton the batter. Willie McGee has stolen 16 out of 20 during the regular season, and he might try to put some heat on Kruko. He's the tying run. They're right after him.
Brenly gets that sign from Craig, and the throw over there.
On deck, Kurt Ford. Missed the inside corner. 1 ball and no strikes. Pendleton staring at Dick Labor to see if there might be a play on.
McGee not running as much as he used to. Still running, but the bad leg kind of slowed him up a little bit.
Pendleton, and it's a thought for tonight especially, he grounded into 18 double plays during the year. Most of them left-handed. And remember, he is playing on a sore left ankle. In fact, we were asking Whitey before the game last night if they had brought Craig Lefferts in to pitch to Dan Dreesen, would you have hit with Pendleton? And he said, no, I was afraid he couldn't run. I would have had Forsch come up, if I could have, to sacrifice. 1 ball, 1 strike. In the Giant bullpen, Racetrack Kelly Downs, the right-hander, and Joe Price, the left-hander. One and a pitch out. Interesting, too, you notice how Brenly backhanded the pitch out. It was almost over the plate.
Yeah, it was not a good pitch out. Is what he got it too close to the plate is what he did.
Yeah.
Look at McGee staring down at Leyva, talking to himself as Will Clark tries to break his concentration.
2-1 to count to Pendleton. And there he goes. A breaking ball hit to the hole at short, and Uribe the long way to get Pendleton. So McGee keeps the Cardinals out of the double play as he moves up a notch. So the tying run is at second, and Kurt Ford coming up.
It's a straight steal. You can see McGee. He's got that head now. He hears the ball hit. He finds the ball, and he's going to stop there. Uribe took a lot of time because Pendleton, with that bad leg, wasn't really flying down the line.
So Willie McGee, the tying run at second base in the 6th inning. Giants leading 3-2, and Kurt Ford, who singled to right and struck out when he singled in the 2nd inning. That was the first of 4 consecutive Cardinal hits. And he starts him with that rainbow, and it's a strike. That was the pitch that struck him out in the 4th inning.
That really puts a thought in your head if you're a hitter. You say, he struck me out the last time. This time he starts me on it.
0-1. Fastball that he missed away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, that was a commercial, Ben. He was just going to show him that.
Ford did well during the regular year with men in scoring position. He hit over 300. And there's a ground ball sharply to Clark, and Will takes it to the bag. No runs, 1 hit. McGee left at second. At the end of 5 1/2, Giants 3, Cardinals 2.
If you were stranded on an island, what kind of car would you want? On this island, you'd want the legendary reliability of Toyota Camry. You'd want responsive 16-valve power and front-wheel drive to ease your way through savage traffic in very civilized room and comfort. And of course, you'd want Camry style, just to impress the natives. Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more?
You can see the dream of success in the eyes of people all across America. At Citicorp, we understand the dream. That's why, as Citicorp and Citibank, we've become America's largest financial services organization, already helping 1 in every 5 American families, with more home mortgages, more student loans, more MasterCard and Visa cards than any other company. We'd like you to get to know us better. Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
Think we're gonna make it? If this thing does? Well, at least we're flying back in a 747. Aren't we?
Northwest has an all 747 fleet to and from the Far East.
Yeah. Harry, Kalamazoo Tuesday, I can do that. Memphis Wednesday, I can do that. New York Thursday, I can do that. How am I going to do that?
No matter where you do business, Northwest can fly you there.
It's America's Day at the Races. The Breeders' Cup, coming November 21st to NBC.
Game 4 of the National League Championship Series. The Giants battling to get even, leading the Cardinals 3-2. And serenely up in the night, our Goodyear blimp plods on. Mike Krukow has shut down the Cardinals since the 2nd inning. He's allowed just 2 hits. He's still hot, I think, the time that Coleman backed out on what he thought was a strike. But maybe that's helped him and gotten the adrenaline pumped.
Whatever, Norm Sherry, the guru, just kind of settled him down.
Robbie Thompson, who struck out but then homered in the 4th inning. And just as Jim Lindemann's home run last night seemed to give the Cardinals a lift, Robbie Thompson's home run in the 4th inning got the Giants going. One ball and 1 strike.
Boy, the little things that make decisions for managers is Lindemann batting 4th, for example. Whitey Herzog talking to him today. He said, well, he's hit 4th. I couldn't put Willie McGee there. He doesn't like it. Terry Pendleton, I put him there. He overswings. He had been there. At least I knew that.
Fastball, and he was late, jammed on it. Good pitch by Cox, and the count 1-2. Whitey mulling over, I'm sure, the fact trailing by a run, and Danny Cox is due to bat second in the 7th inning. But of course, he has only 8 pitchers available. He had Ricky Horton up earlier, no one throwing now. 1-2 the count to Robbie Thompson. Fastball again.
That just reminds me, he made a decision, remember, before the series began, going with 8 pitchers.
Yeah.
If he goes the other way and uses one more pitcher, he doesn't have Wallace that he could use, which he did last night. So another one of those decisions that will get lost in the process.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Just missed with the breaking ball. 2-2. Three runs, 7 hits for the Giants. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Cardinals. Breaking ball hit the straightaway center, and Willie McGee is there. 1 down. Jose Uribe, the switch-hitting shortstop, struck out and flied to right. 0 for 2. He just missed getting an extra base hit prior to striking out in the 2nd inning.
That ball he hit for almost the base hit you're talking about, that almost base hit, was the only pitch that Cox gave him inside. He was trying to work him outside, and he got the 1 fastball in.
Ball 1-0 to Jose Uribe. Normally, if a hitter is crowding the plate, he's just daring you to pitch away, and that would be his strength. When you see somebody stand as far away from the plate as he does, what do you think about it? He hits a pop fly back of first down the line. Dreesen, Herr, and Ford. Tommy Herr. What about that position in the box?
To answer your question, the first thing you'd look at is his stride. Is he diving in? Because some guys are deep in the batter's box and they come right into the plate. But where he's standing, I would keep it on that outside corner. And every once in a while, just come inside, way inside, to move him back and keep him there.
2 down in the 6th inning. 3-2 Giants, and Mike Krukow walked and grounded out coming up. No one throwing in the Cardinal pen for the moment, so we assume that Danny Cox will take his at-bat in the 7th. We'll see. Fouled away.
And this is what Don Robinson says about hitting. Right now, he'd be looking for a breaking ball, and if they threw it, he'd have a good cut. Let's see if he would be right.
Wait a minute. Ground ball to short. He hit a fastball down to Ozzie Smith. Wait a minute. Don Robinson says about
That's
hitting?
right. That's what he says.
The pitcher.
This is the guy that said it was going to be and hit a home run.
Okay. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
1956, the first World Series perfect game is pitched. 1956, a perfect climate for crime until Jack Cleary hit town. Private Eye, Friday.
Something smart has happened to the new Pacific Bell Yellow Pages.
Well, I'm not bragging, mate, so don't put me down. But I got the fastest set of wheels in town. She's got a competition clutch with a 4 on the floor.
Now everything for your car is parked on our new one-page index that helps speed you to the listing you need.
She's my little new scoop. You don't know what I got.
The brand new Pacific Bell Smart Yellow Pages. It's smarter to do it by the book.
Now, let's have a look. Say, that's...
No two doctors are alike.
Lights, action,
That's why when you choose MaxiCare Health Plan, you can choose your own MaxiCare doctor. A doctor who will know you and who you can see as often as you need without ever paying a deductible or filling out any forms. MaxiCare lets you pick a doctor you feel comfortable with.
Very good, very good. Well done.
The White Flower Day sale.
This Sunday and Monday, save 20 to 50% at Macy's.
Great suits.
Very elegant.
Save on coats.
All kinds of clothes.
Gear up for fall.
Gear up. Girls' clothes. Boys' clothes. Jewelry.
So take charge.
Charge.
And save 20 to 50%. The White Flower Day sale.
Sunday and Monday.
How do I look? We're Macy's, and we're a part of your life.
Come home to Channel 4's post-game wrap-up show tonight.
4 of the 1987 National League Championship Series is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft, cold-filtered draft beer. It's as real as it gets. And by your Toyota dealer in the all-new Dimension 88 Corolla. Who could ask for anything more? Danny Cox coming into the dugout following the last out, and I think Whitey was breaking the news to him that he was probably coming out down in the bullpen. Ricky Horton begins to loosen up. Cox due to bat second in the 7th inning. There is Ricky Horton, and the Giants leading the Cardinals 3-2. Tony Pena single to center, grounded to third. Cox putting the helmet on, so perhaps Tony Pena will determine whether Danny stays in the game or not. Kevin Mitchell right at the bag at third. So he gives Pena a sizable hole on the left side, hugging the sack. Will Clark is deep, guarding the chalk at first. 0-1. Fastball, strike 2.
See, I can see Mitchell doing that, but I can't see Clark doing that. But that's what that so-called book that all players seem to have thrown away. 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, guard the lines.
0-2 to Tony Pena.
He's having a few words, I think, with Greg, just visiting. He's going to regroup.
Three 3-2 Giants, top of the 7th. Pena, Cox, and Coleman. Ball 1, 1-2. Breaking ball, and it's hit over second base into center field, and that keeps Danny Cox in the game. That's how important that at bat was.
He'll be up there bunting, and they'll set up with all kind of a defense. Clark is already looking in. Pena just flicks the bat. He really doesn't drive this ball. He's bailing out, but he's got that bat in the zone, and he's got himself a base hit.
Danny Cox during the regular year sacrificed 4 times, and as Norm Sherry makes his way out to the mound, they'll no doubt try and set for the bunt.
I just want to finish my thought on Don Robinson's theory on hitting. Pitchers think differently.
You know, the reason I was startled is I thought you were going to say Stan Musial, Willie Mays,
No,
Henry Aaron, Will
this makes
Clark,
sense.
Willie
No,
McGee.
this makes sense. Pitchers think different. And what he says is that most guys think pitchers can't hit curveballs, so he looks for it in certain spots and goes to work on it. And you're the one that said last night he hit the home run. He told Greg.
That's right, against Lance McCullers, and he said he's going to hang me a slider. That's Don in the left-hand corner, now standing up. A big guy out of West Virginia, and he hit the slider against McCullers for the home run.
He dances to a different beat.
All right, let's see about Danny Cox now, trying to get a bunt down with Pena at first, the tying run, and nobody out in the 7th. In the air, and Clark falls down but makes the play.
And if he would have let that ball drop, if he slips and it drops, he's got a double play because Cox started back to the dugout and Pena's standing on first base, so he could have worked against him.
When they jerked the rug out from under him, though, Will Clark was just fortunate enough to keep his head above water and handle the ball.
Yep. But it could have really been disastrous for the Cardinals, although Clark makes a good play. I mean, when you're starting to slip like that, all you're looking for is to catch that ball. You're not trying any trick plays.
Well, that could be a key one for a lot of reasons. Not only it fails to advance a man, Pena's base hit kept Cox in the game. We'll have to kind of file that away, put it in escrow for a little while, and see just how important it turns out to be. Vince Coleman is 2 for 3. A comebacker. Kruko to Uribe to Clark. So that's important, the failure to move the man on the bunt, and it is 3-2 Giants.
My grandfather was a carpenter. My dad's a carpenter. Yes, building things is in my blood.
The Sawcat from the Industrial Tool Division of Black & Decker. Tough ball and roller bearings, cut steel helical gears for precision and power, job after job.
You know, you start in the morning, there's nothing. And at the end of the day, there's proof you've been there.
Ask a man who's used one lately. Nothing beats a Black & Decker.
It's real. I know it's real. All the reasons for the way I feel. Oh yeah. It's as real as it gets. It feels good. So right. No doubt about it. This is what I like right now. Oh, it's as real as it gets. The only thing I got on my mind says hang on to the real good time. Oh yeah, it's real.
The best things are the real things. Draft beer is the real beer. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Oh yeah, oh it's as real as it gets. People in this country work hard every day. Not for fame or fortune do they strive, but the fruits of their labor are worth more than their pay. And it's time a few of them were recognized.
You work hard for every dollar you spend. Now get $5 back when you buy 12 quarts of any Valvoline motor oil.
You work a 40-hour week for a living, just to send it on down the line.
Bottom of the 7th inning. Roger Clegg talking to Will Clark about that bunt, and Clark explaining how he handled it. And of course, such a big bunt. Earlier today, because there's so much talk about Jeffrey Leonard, and so Joe Garagiola went down to the dugout to ask him about himself.
Who is the real Jeffrey Leonard? The villain we see in St. Louis, or the hack man we see in San Francisco?
I think it's the hack man. I'm a very ordinary guy, I think. I'm probably the kind of guy who, if you invite me over to dinner and your wife or your mother baked a cake and she asked me how it was, if it stink, I tell her, you know, it was a rotten cake. I'm probably that kind of guy.
But you are a good hitter.
I try to be.
Eddie Milner fouls the bunt away on what? I see.
The moral of that story is don't invite him over for cake.
You mean there's the kind of guy who'd look at a mother and say, that's a homely baby.
I don't know about that.
0-1 the count. Eddie Milner has grounded to short, struck out and flied to right, 0 for 3. That was a pretty good move. We've been wondering about Milner trying to bunt, and especially you know how upset Danny Cox must be by popping up the bunt. Eddie tried to get him wool gathering, but he fouled it off. Chopper to the right side, Tommy Herr. One down. Kevin Mitchell will be coming up, followed by Jeffrey Leonard. And if you're not keeping score, to look ahead to the 8th when the Cardinals come up, Ozzie Smith, Tommy Herr, and Dan Dreesen.
Third baseman, Kevin Mitchell.
Kevin Mitchell grounded to short, single to center in the 3rd inning, and then hit a breaking ball and doubled into the left field corner in the 5th. 0-1. So Mitchell 2 for 3. Jack Clark hoping for game 6, I guess. At least that's what Whitey said. He was hoping to get him ready for game 6.
Really has been a game by game for Whitey as far as Jack Clark is concerned.
2 balls and no strikes. Change popped up around the plate. Pena. And I'll tell you one thing, that is a real rarity to watch a high foul at Candlestick behind the plate and have the catcher walk in a straight line.
And the stand's still waiting for it to come down. And he's talking to Greg, and they may be saying the very same thing. Here comes the hack man. Well, first we'll look at Pena. Look at this.
It's like he was walking down an aisle. Well, here's the man so far of the series. Leonard walked and struck out and then hit the 2-run home run in the 5th inning to give the Giants a 3-2 lead. 1 ball and no strike. Ricky Horton is up again in the Cardinal bullpen.
graphic, and I got to tell you, those look like Little League numbers. 538, 7 base hits, 11 times at bat, 4 home runs.
It's worthwhile to repeat, he has a $50,000 incentive bonus if he's the most valuable player in the league championship series, and another $50,000 incentive bonus if he's the MVP in the World Series. That'd be a long shot, but it's sure worth trying for.
This could be one of those spots where they're pitching around him, too.
3-0. On the corner. 3-1.
Questionable. Curveball, 3-0. Low and outside. You think they're going to give in to him?
On deck, Will Clark. And they walked him. So the 2-out pass, second time that they walked him tonight. This is really why they walked him, because he's at it again. A towering fly ball, and a gust apparently just blew it over the fence. The kid's having a field day. Bowman had gone back as if he had to play all the way until he ran out of room, and Leonard had done it again. So this time they give him the silk glove treatment. They put him on with 2 out, and Will Clark will be coming up. Will Clark grounded out, struck out, and singled to right. And he goes to left field. Coleman backtracking and has to knock it down. Here comes Leonard around third. Ozzie Smith, the relay to Pena, and he is out at the plate. 7-6-2. What a great throw by Ozzie Smith.
And he hesitated on the throw. Didn't really think he was coming.
And at the end of 7, it's 3-2 San Francisco.
For the first winter ever, there's actually an antifreeze that will guarantee your radiator. The antifreeze, new Prestone Advanced Formula. Use it after using Prestone Super Flush. And should our protection fail, no matter which model car you have, we'll pay for your radiator repairs. New Prestone Advanced Formula. The antifreeze that guarantees your radiator.
Good night, Tim. We'll be back late.
Ah, the virtues of milk.
Party!
Milk has thiamine to help boost your energy level. Protein to assist muscle development. Riboflavin for agility.
They're back!
And milk has vitamin B complex for a stable nervous system.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. You're home early.
Milk, it does a body good.
Introducing Toyota Corolla for 1988. Dramatic new looks that'll literally stun you. Performance that'll surprise you. And value that is legendary. For 1988, it's a whole new dimension for Corolla. Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more?
L.A. Law, the show that swept the Emmys, is back.
And have we consummated our deal, Mr. Becker?
I believe that we have.
To sweep you off your feet.
Good.
Opening with an exciting season premiere.
So this is good then.
Greg. L.A. Law, Thursday.
Here's Coleman going back, and he thought he was closer to the fence, bobbles it. Now watch his relay to Ozzie Smith. Ozzie doesn't throw immediately. Right there, now he spots him, and Leonard really tries to knock Tony Pena down, veers in, and he tags him right in the face, and that ball is in his glove, not in his bare hand.
Foul ball by Ozzie Smith, and the count 1-1.
That's very important where he's got that ball. Now, here's Coleman again, hit right off the heel. I wonder if there's a little swirling going on out there with that wind, Ben.
The flags are not indicating, but it is typical of Candlestick that there are gusts of wind affecting balls you're not aware of. You don't have any indication of it.
Ozzie made a strong throw as a relay man.
Great throw. And that's on the corner, 2-2. It was a perfect ball for the catcher, Tony Pena, to handle, and he had both hands on it, and then Jeffrey Leonard got both hands of Tony Pena in his face. Little nubber Kruko down to get it. One away.
Don Zimmer had Leonard coming all the way. Look at Zimmer up the line, waving him on. There's Ozzie. And for a minute, he doesn't see Leonard, but Pena's got a lot of time, and he braces himself. And he buries that glove, that ball in the glove. And Leonard's coming hard, and Zimmer's up the line. He's not hesitating. I mean, he's full steam. Look where Zimmer is, and Pena's waiting, and he just jams him. If he'd have put his shoulder down, he might have gotten hurt, but Pena made a good tag.
Leonard, by the way, is 6'4", 205 pounds. There's a chopper to the hole. Base hit by the diving Robbie Thompson. So Tommy Herr, a one-out single to right field, representing the tying run. And the batter is Dan Dreesen. And immediately, as Robbie Thompson comes up with a glove full of empty, the Giant bullpen is busy. 3 runs, 8 hits for the Giants. 2 runs, 8 hits for the Cardinals. Dreesen has walked, flied to right, and struck out. That's Craig Lefferts and Don Robinson in the Giant bullpen. Ground ball to Clark on the bag. That means it's a tag, no force, and it'll be Uribe in a foot race.
Great play by Clark.
3-6 double play. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. At the end of 7.5, 3-2 Giants.
Every 10 seconds of every hour of every business day, America puts a brand new Epson computer or printer to work. Imagine that. Businesses of every kind and size putting the power of Epson into millions of hands. Every 10 seconds, another new Epson. It's true. When you've got an Epson, you've got a lot of company.
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa's putting smiles on American faces.
Don't miss our biggest sale of the year. It's Car Care Days at your Napa Auto Parts store. Just about everything you need to keep your car in great shape is on sale now. Get special prices on quality Napa parts. Check your local newspaper for sale items at your Napa Auto Parts store and save at our Car Care Days sale.
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa.
Now you can enjoy all the memories of the 1987 World Series with a copy of the official World Series program. With more than 90 pages of facts and figures, it's a real collector's item. To order your souvenir program, just send check or money order for $6 to World Series Program, Post Office Box 87, Trenton, New Jersey 08651. That's Box 87, Trenton, New Jersey 08651. Please include your proper return address.
The preceding was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Here's that double play, and you're really going to see Clark make a good play. He gets the out here. Now, he doesn't throw the ball and makes Herr commit himself. Now, watch Herr try to grab Clark, and if he grabs him, he hopes for interference. So you really saw 2 heady plays. Clark by man. Craig appreciates that because Clark made Herr commit himself, and Tommy, with his experience, says, if I can just grab him, I might get an interference call. That was really something.
There's also something going on here at Candlestick. The paid attendance tops last night, 57,997. An all-time crowd for a baseball game at Candlestick Park. Mike all ready to start it off.
And we were talking about some empty seats a half hour before the game.
Well, they're certainly here now. Ball 1, 1-0. Do you notice that the Giants continue to rely on their favorite weapon, the double play? They've done it throughout, having led the major leagues in double plays. 1 ball and no strikes. Comebacker. Nice play by Danny Cox. So Aldretti out. 1 away. Friends, this telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Bob Brenly coming up. Meanwhile, kind of stretching and somehow getting ready, Jack Clark. That is one of the tough things for the visiting team here at Candlestick Park. There is no place to go to get warm. In so many other ballparks, you go up the runway, back into the clubhouse, etc., but not here. And if you do have a tendency to stiffen up in the cool night air, boy, this is the place that'll do it to you.
The clubhouse is a long way for the visiting team. They have to go from third base to right field.
1 ball and 1 strike. So Clark will not have any chance. The only thing you can do is go outside the dugout, stand on a warning track, and swing the bat. The Cardinals will tell you about their hitters due up in the 9th. But Brenly drives one to deep left. Back goes Coleman, away back, gone. A goal line stand in left field.
Some of those kids, they don't want the ball. They want to dive on somebody. Tom Lawless you're looking at. Cardinal bench, and the Giants still high-fiving it, and they're still scrambling for that ball.
So Danny Cox has given up 3 home runs tonight to Robbie Thompson, Jeffrey Leonard, and Bob Brenly. And the Giants lead 4-2. And here's Thompson. Right. When the Cardinals come up in the 9th inning, Willie McGee, Terry Pendleton, and Kurt Ford. 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. So the Giants are doing the 2 things that got them here, hitting home runs and turning double plays. The Cardinals are not doing their trademark. We have not seen a lot of Cardinal stolen bases. Here's another look at the goal line stand following the home run. And not a helmet in sight. Brenly, who had struck out 5-6 times in the series, finally unloads. Another comebacker. Another nice play by Danny Cox. He would appear to be a good fielder. 2 down.
Also appears that Brenly, after the way they've been pitching him and been so steady, he's just kind of sitting on it.
Take another look at Danny Cox's form.
Kind of off balance, but it comes right back to him, and he's able to handle it.
Shortstop.
4-2 Giants. Bottom of the 8th inning. Jose Uribe the batter.
I'll tell you how upset Danny Cox was when he threw that ball around the infield after that last out. He caught it barehanded.
I'll bet he is. The Cardinals won 95 games during the regular year. And after seeing what they did last night, there is no way that the Giants can sit on any lead and find it comfortable. 1 ball, 1 strike. Uribe struck out, flied to right, and popped up. Ground ball. Up with it is Dan Dreesen. Nice play. But the Giants get 1 run on 1 hit. And before the largest crowd in baseball history at Candlestick Park, Bob Brenly takes a bow, and the Giants take a 4-2 lead into the 9th inning.
Super 2 Plus blades with a comfort strip for the easy touch.
For every number flashing by in the ticker, there's a buyer and a seller who found each other. Chicago pork bellies get an offer from London. Swiss francs are picked up in Dallas. How do traders keep up with it? They use a communication system from Cantel. If it doesn't work, they don't work. That's why 4 out of 5 major trading firms depend on technology from Cantel. For Cantel, I'm Charlton Heston.
It's real. I know it's real.
There was a time when there was only one kind of beer. Rich, smooth draft beer. It wasn't pasteurized or tampered with. It was just real beer. Miller Genuine Draft is as real as that. It's not heat pasteurized like most other beers. It's cold filtered, so it's as rich and smooth as only real draft beer can be. Miller Genuine Draft.
It's as real as it gets.
Really, Norton? You think you've never had ice cream before? Oops.
There's only one camera system you can buy that lets you hold the picture in your hand while you still hold the feeling in your heart. The Polaroid Spectra system.
Boy, what a day we have for you tomorrow, right here on NBC. Starting at 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time, the NFL, and there's the menu for that attraction. After football, and with the doubleheader, Cincinnati, Seattle, Pittsburgh, and the Rams. Then right here at Candlestick, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Game 5, Rick Russell and Greg Matthews. And then when our game is over at 8 o'clock, it'll be the Minnesota Twins and the Detroit Tigers. Now that's a day of sports on NBC.
Boy, and they got a beauty going over there at Tiger Stadium, too. What a game they had today.
Well, we got one here. It is 4-2 Giants in the ninth. And now the Cardinals try to come back. And Whitey sends up Willie McGee, Terry Pendleton, and Kurt Ford. Mitchell in on the grass at third. Strike. Down in the Giant bullpen, Don Robinson and Craig Lefferts. Mike Krukow has had 3 complete games all year. And another strike. McGee lined out to center, grounded to second, and singled to center.
He really is set up to bounce that curveball, or at least throw it low and inside, which is this one that McGee's been chasing. Krukow with 2 fastballs is in pretty good shape right here.
0-2. Fouled away.
See Brenly motioning down. That ball was out of the zone.
It's interesting here in the 9th inning. You hearken back to the 7th. When Tony Pena singled, Danny Cox was then allowed to stay in the game, was asked to sacrifice, and couldn't do it. Consequently, he was still in the game for Brenly's home run. Roller back at first. Fair ball. Clark feeding Krukow. 1 out in the 9th.
Krukow's gotten a lot of ground ball outs, curveball, and Clark thinks he might be able to make it himself, but he realizes McGee's coming down, so he's going to give it to Krukow. And he makes the left turn. Good play.
That ball came very, very close to hitting the bag, too. Almost hit it. So 1 down, Terry Pendleton the batter, and Kurt Ford on deck. In contrast, and the contrast, I guess, was to be expected. The Giants have 9 hits, 3 home runs, and a couple of doubles. That's the 9th hit for the Cardinals, all singles. So Terry Pendleton battles back with a base hit up the middle. And that will bring up Kurt Ford.
And what Brenly's home run did, give him that extra run, you eliminate the possible hit, run, play, steal. Although, tell you, with the Cardinals, they got green lights going all the time, but you wouldn't think so.
Terry Pendleton has the bad ankle, so he's not quite the base stealer that he was during the year when he stole 19. Ground ball to Robbie Thompson, to Uribe, to Clark. The San Francisco Giants and the St. Louis Cardinals have split 4, and the Giants have just set a National League Championship Series record. They have now turned in 9 double plays.
Get that ground ball, and those 2 guys around second base, they really know what to do with it.
So a lot of things now go through your mind. There is definitely going to be a 6th game at Busch Stadium, which means we might finally see Jack Clark in a starting role. Whitey said at the start of the series he'd like to stay above water until Clark could come back. And it looks like if he can, Clark will have that opportunity in Game 6.
Hey, these Giants, tonight they showed why they're here. The Cardinals' speed from first to third has been great, but they still have not unleashed that great base stealing that got them to where they are.
So everything has stood up as we see Jack Clark just about last man off the field. And this tremendous crowd of almost 58,000 going wild. We'll be back.
Hi. My Sylvania soft white light bulbs burn 50 more hours than ordinary soft white bulbs. And they're the only ones with a guarantee. Not like those guys with the dim future.
Sylvania, where the best comes to light.
It's real. I know it's real. No other reason for the way I feel. Oh, yeah. It's as real as it.
How you doing? How's everything?
Feels good. So right. Yeah, yeah.
The best things are the real things. And draft beer is the real beer. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
It's as real as it gets.
It's just like a breath of fresh air early in the morning.
There's something about the taste of Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
I mean, usually I start sneaking some out of the box before I even get it into the bowl.
The tradition.
I've been eating them since I was a little girl. My son eats them.
The value.
You can buy all the imitations and not get Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
That make it part of a breakfast people feel special about.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes is tops.
Corn Flakes from Kellogg's. What more could you want from a cereal?
It's your new Smith Corona typewriter with a 50,000-word electronic dictionary. People say your typing has really improved. You know it's your typewriter that's really improved. And you found it at Kmart. Yes, Kmart, America's favorite store.
We go above and beyond just like you. Above and beyond what we have to do. Ensuring the best in life for you.
When it comes to life insurance, nobody goes above and beyond like your Prudential representative.
You take pride in your life, so do we. Going above and beyond is our policy. The rock, the protection, above and beyond.
Tonight's NBC Miller Lite player of the game is pitcher Mike Krukow, who went the distance to beat the Cardinals 4-2. Miller Lite happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Mike Krukow to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. Let's meet Mike right now and go down to the field to Jay Randolph.
Thank you, Vin. And Mike, a marvelous performance. You were just superb after that second inning.
Well, you know, Joe Gargio's the next catcher, and he's not going to let me forget that 0-2 pitch that I threw to Cox. It was a fastball right down the cock, and I thought I could sneak my 85-mile-an-hour heater by him, but that was real costly. Unfortunately, my troops picked me up. It was fun to get back in this son of a gun. We needed this game, obviously.
Yes, you just told me a moment ago how much fun it was, and you really did a marvelous job after that second inning. I mean, you had the meeting out of your hand.
Well, I don't know about that. They hit a lot of balls that are that were very tough plays that our defense turned. Already made one great play off of Smith in about the 5th inning, I believe, and then the way our Keystone combo keeps turning double plays, it just makes me look good, makes my job easier.
Mike, what were you thinking when Leonard jacked another one out of here? 4 home runs, 4 LCS games, a new record.
I was real happy for him. He's worked very hard, and he's a very professional man, and he enjoys just what he's doing right now. He's in the limelight, and I was applauding just like everybody else.
I doubt if your new son really realizes what his daddy did here tonight, but I know he'll be proud of you when he does realize it.
Well, my 4th, he might not be too aware of what's going on. He's 2 weeks old, but my other 3, they know what's going on. They know Dad's all right.
Momentum back in your yard for the moment.
Darn right.
All right, Mike, congratulations.
Thanks, and to get well to my dad and my mother-in-law.
All right.
Nice going. Thank you.
Ben, back up to you and Joe.
All right, Jay, thank you very much. Thanks to Mike Krukow for visiting with us and basking in the glow of his 4-2 victory. We'll be back to Candlestick with a lot more after this.
When you're in the market for an imported luxury sedan, you're in among cars costing serious, very serious money. And just when there seems no end, Mitsubishi introduces the new Galant Sigma with a wealth of features, including 3-liter V6 power and ABS anti-lock braking, all for well under $20,000. The new Galant Sigma, a serious luxury sedan, at a price that's not too serious. Mitsubishi, suddenly the obvious choice.
Every day, over 30 million AT&T calls go through on the first try.
Thanks to a remarkably intelligent network that forecasts traffic, anticipates tie-ups, and determines the quickest way around them. All in less time than it takes to dial. The AT&T network, you can call it the mastermind of long distance.
Glad I got through.
We're reaching further to bring your world closer. AT&T, the right choice.
Are you paying too much or your rates too high? Leave it to the good hands, people. Does your insurance bill make you wanna cry?
If you're not happy with your insurance bill, join the more than 6 million families who enjoy solid Allstate homeowners protection at sensible Allstate rates.
So take those blues and save some dough. Give us a call, cause our rates are low. Leave it to the good hands, people. You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Most bottled Mitchell aboard his 4th home run of the